Okay, good morning, my friends. This is a little second video to the first one. I'm doing it like this because I've been having these troubles where I'll do a video and then it doesn't flip. So you're seeing it sideways. I have to go back and then redo it and do it that way. So while we get ready to go to work here, I decided that I would do a little something for you guys. And this is one of my beliefs that one of my friends and I talked about a little while ago. And this is the thing about Nibiru and what I believe Nibiru actually is. Okay? Now, is it ancient Earth? Maybe. I think, this is what I told people once before. Now, I know that a lot of people don't believe a lot of things. But my belief is that Nibiru is Earth coming back on itself. Now that's a thing that a lot of people have never been able to grasp and they don't get. But I believe that Nibiru is this planet coming back on itself. Now when you look at it, the pictures of what they say it looks like, it's blue, but it's all basically water. There's hardly anything there, but of course they were supposed to be like the Anunnaki and all this and everything else, but they're saying that, oh yeah, there's it's this water planet, la la la. And I remember what they talk in the Bible about how the earth was void. Oops, god damn it. Void and without form. Right? Well, when you look at this planet, like I have been, you come to realize that maybe it is true that maybe Nibiru is us coming back in time through, it takes however long it takes. Kind of funny too, because how many years does it take? 3,600 to a little bit more. And isn't our year 365 days, give or take? So the days are kind of based on almost the years. Like, remember how they said a day is but 1,000 years? Well, that wouldn't be exactly correct, but still 1,000 years, 3,000 years would be like whatever it is for us. So, 1 year for us is 1,000, whatever it is, for whatever. I'm lost on that one. But anyway, my whole thing is that I believe that Nibiru is here coming back on itself. That's what I truly believe. I think that Nibiru really is us coming back on us. Again, we see E.T., we this, we that. Well, I've had a lot of weird experiences. Not that I've ever seen anything more than just something in the sky. Back before, in time when, you wasn't like naturally seen. And there's another story that I could go into. Now if you ever go on here, and I don't know if they even call him this, but there was a UFO story about a guy named Sid Padrick, S-I-D, P-A-D, Sid Padrick. I don't think that's his real name, because the guy lives somewhere near me, okay? This is way back. Now, I can tell you this story, and this story is kind of an odd story to tell because it's weird with me also, because there's a lot of things within it that I don't understand, okay? But one night, my mother and myself and my grandparents were over, but my grandfather was always afraid of all this stuff. He didn't like talks about E.T. and this and that. It's freaked him out. And even though there were a lot of things within my family that we talked about, he didn't like to be part of those conversations because a lot of those things scared him. So, anyway, we're standing out on our porch and we look out to the sky. Now, why no one else ever talked about this, I don't know, but we did see it. So we're standing there on the porch. We're looking out towards a certain spot up in the heavens, way up. It's far enough away that you can't say, oh, it looked exactly like it, because there's no way to do that. But it kind of, in a way, resembled the Close Encounters type thing, although it was so far away you couldn't really see it. It was just a star. Now, we watched this star, okay? More coffee. We watched this star, and the funny thing about this star was that the whole time we were doing this thing, standing out there looking at this big ass star, comes to find out, here come these three little dudes, like what they would call scouts. Here they come, bloop, 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 out of it. They take off. They're flying around, and they're gone. And this big guy sits there. But it's far enough away that you would just say, oh, it's a star. You wouldn't have been able to say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, because there would have been no way to discern it because it was too far away. But we watched it happen. Now, to go to the Sid Padrick story, what happened to him was this, okay? So he lived up the coast from me a little bit. The story was on, that was a story called The Grassy Knoll or something like that. And so I was like a member of that site. And I posted the story because it was a story, and they had posted the story about him because it was all about UFOs and all this and everything else, right? So, I don't even know what his real name is, but anyway, so supposedly he was awakened by this humming, and he lived kind of not on the beach, but near it. I mean, like he could step out his door, go a few yards, and there it was. So I know where this point is, okay? And then we'll bring it back to the thing I was talking about. So, supposedly this thing lands, right? And he goes there, and this couple of beings, or whatever they are, come out, and they say to him, hey, would you like to see the inside of our ship? And he's scared for, okay. And he goes in there, and I guess they fly around and all this and everything else. And then they go, yeah. Would you like to pray to our supreme deity? And he goes into this little room in the ship, and he goes, this overwhelmingly thing of love, it just hit me, and it was like, wow. So anyway, that's that part, and they fly around. Now, this whole time, we're watching this big star, because I didn't know anything about the story till later, okay? And then end of the story is after they flew him around and told him the thing, and where they were from, and what they did, and this and that, they dropped him off, and they called it a trailer park in the mountains of where I live. Well, I know where that is. That's not a trailer park. Do trailers go there? Are motorhomes there? Yes, but it's for a group of people that go, and they own the property. Okay, I just don't want to go into the whole thing of it. Well, anyway, that's where they dropped him, and he was out in the middle of nowhere, and I guess he caught a ride and finally came back and went home. Well, a little bit later, here come these three little guys. They went into the big star, looked like a star of Bethlehem almost, and it was gone. That ain't no figment of my imagination. That happened. Yet, no one in my city or anybody ever reported it. It was way back in the 70s. Way back. So this guy would probably be dead because he was in his 40s then, which would make him like 90 to something else now. So he's probably not alive. And then what the thing was, they changed his name from what that was to something else. And then they changed the location of where they dropped him because I actually happen to know where they put him. Could it have been some special mission from somewhere else and it originated from where they dropped him off? Maybe. All I know is that situation happened when I was standing outside watching this star. I've been star watching for quite a while. I've seen things that you can't explain. I've taken some pictures of things that I don't know. I don't have the pictures anymore to show you. This is way back when all I had was an iPhone 3, and I don't think I could find those archives. Picture of looks like a ship underneath, and there's a pentagram in blue underneath it. All I know is I remember that day, and I remember when that happened, and it was right when they were talking about this guy and all this other stuff. So is it true? Well, I do believe the story. It's kind of funny how they dropped him off where they said. And then the other thing is that it happened in this place where I would have thought other people would have talked about it. They never did. But we stood there on my porch and watched this happen. I don't know. But all I know is I saw it. And it was one of the most trippiest encounters I had ever had that no one else ever talked about. Well, you got to realize a lot of people don't look at the sky. And it could have been just one of those nights where no one was looking. One night, well, not night, dusk. So about like what it is right now in the morning, but at night. Now, my father and I were laying out in our backyards, in his backyard, or our yard, and I was laying in the hammock looking up. And I told my dad, and he did, and he was asleep. But I said, "Whoa, Dad, did you see that? From horizon to horizon in this flash of light went, shpoosh." I almost didn't remember that until I started talking. So in a way, that's kind of like regression. I remember that. It was like this big yellow flash, shoosh, shoosh, from one side of the horizon to the other, and it was gone like that, quick. There ain't no plane we possess that flies like that. They got one that's supersonic that you can't see, but this thing was not it. So I basically went, wow. So I've had a lot of different encounters myself. Never anything any closer than that one we saw. But it was funny because it was around the same time of what happened to him. Okay. My thing is, for all you guys out there that may believe in UFOs, or people that come here and do all this, why would a benevolent race of beings come here, take people, and then do all this torture to them? Right? Case in point, Travis Walton. Travis Walton, I believe his story. I don't think it's fake. I think it happened. He was traumatized. And they did something to him, and then the next thing you know, I guess they felt bad for him and they dropped him off. I have no clue. I could tell you a lot of different stories about how people that I know who have their memories were wiped of whatever it was, who aren't even living anymore, so it doesn't matter if you talk about them, but it did happen. But all I know is that story that happened that night happened. That actually happened. It was real. I was there. I saw it, and I think this light's coming in my window and kind of blending me out so you can't see me. But anyway, that story about Sid Padrick actually happened, and it was in a paper, and then it was written on that Grassy Knoll site, which I think still exists. And it was kind of a very funny thing because I remember witnessing an event that happened when that happened. You know what I mean? So with that said, I'm about ready to go ahead and get out of here. But I wanted you guys to understand that that was a thing that happened to me. It wasn't fake. It really happened. And it was me, my mother, her mother. My grandfather was there, but he was so afraid he wouldn't come out. We were going, wow, come out, look. And he wouldn't. He was too freaked out. He couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. And so we basically witnessed this thing for a while, and then I never thought about it. And then one day on the internet comes this story about this thing that happened right about that time up the coast from me with a guy, and I don't think that's his name. I don't think his name really is Sid Padrick. I think it's something different. But the guy's probably gone by now because he'd be probably 90 to 100 years old. But that was an interesting story. And I just thought it was something I'd come out and tell you guys because it ended up, I was just thinking about it and I thought, hey, this could be a great thing to talk about. So I came out and I talked about it to you. Now I'm about ready to run out of time. But that was just an interesting little UFO story that happened to me. There were a couple other things that happened. I used to be big into stargazing, and then one day it kind of ended. I don't know why, but it did. I wish there were some old archived videos of my old channel that you guys could find, but I don't have those videos. There was a lot more interesting things on there, and a lot of this stuff would just shoot off the top of my head, and I'd come out and say it, and it would happen. But again, the depression mode I had was obviously something because then right after Eddie Van Halen was said, oh, he died, I didn't feel as bad. Well, my friends, that's a little story that I got into. I wish I could do more of these. Anyway, you guys all have a really good day. Again, peace. I'll be seeing you. You hang in there, and I'll be seeing you.